All right, this is take two. Actually, this is take many of trying to do a quick 5-minute blog, video log every morning. And it's actually 1:17 p.m., which means in Florida it's heated up. The sun's hitting the side of the building and I'm sweating, but the fan would have been too loud. So if you see little droplets, I'm doing this for you, friend. Also, tried recording with a YouTube online webcam as you go kind of thing, and it totally failed. Deleted several recordings already, so I'm now using Camtasia, which is really powerful and lots of editing functionality, but it's not showing me. So it makes me a little nervous that I have like a giant booger or something, but whatever. So 5 minutes. The theory is 5 minutes once a day at most, maybe daily isn't doesn't work, whatever. Little videos talking about what I'm doing in terms of development or what I'm learning or who I'm talking to or interesting Twitter drama or whatever. Um, and oh my gosh, not only does it not show me, but it doesn't show me how long it's been. This is terrible. Oh, record time, but I have to keep clicking that thing. Okay, so I've got 4 minutes left and I'm going to turn on a timer. Steep.it/4 minutes. That's something to talk about for your tea. Steep.it/amount of time, and that gives you how much time you have. Okay, so my wife on YouTube follows makeup people and hair people and all this kind of stuff, and they have really regular updates. Not daily, but they're usually like 15, 20 minutes, and they're regularly, frequent. And I had been thinking for a while, why don't I try something that like that for tech? And then my friend Cohen Jacobs on Twitter said the exact same thing. He's like, why don't we try something like that on tech? I was like, let's do it. Let's make it happen. The thing is, I don't know exactly what's good to talk about. This isn't like something that has a format. So I don't really know what's delivery look like. Does it just put it up on YouTube and see if anybody subscribes? What are some good rules? Do talk about that, don't talk about that, go slower, go faster, one topic per time or not. I don't know. So I figured, why don't I just try it? I talk to you, fuss with YouTube a little bit and give up on it, but eventually get to it to the point where I talk to you about this and I just try one, put it online, see if anybody's interested, get some critical feedback, figure out how to turn on the fan when it's really hot or remember to record them in the morning or whatever. So, interesting things to talk about at the moment. Uh, Tabs versus spaces, because why not start with drama if you can? So in PHP, there's a thing called PSR2 that suggests that you must use spaces instead of tabs. And I've always pushed back on it. I love a lot of the other recommendations for PSR2, but I don't like spaces. And a lot of the people I know, especially kind of more senior mature developers, like spaces. And they say, oh, it's and the common things I've heard are it's better for alignments because you don't get all your if you're using kind of alignment to align all your equal signs up or something like that, not for indentation for alignment. Tabs are totally flaky. I totally agree. GitHub expects them to be spaces, so it displays tabs kind of weird. Totally agree. And it's consistent everywhere. Okay, kind of. So first of all, first thing, spaces for alignment. I suggest tabs for indentation, spaces for alignment. Done. Because tabs are meant for indenting things, spaces are fine for aligning things, that we're using Unicode or whatever they're called, fixed width fonts, so spaces for alignment totally makes sense. But you can still use tab for indentation. GitHub, okay, yes. GitHub's a big piece, but I'm not sure if I'm willing to completely do my entire coding style around GitHub, especially if I could be like, hey, GitHub, maybe you could do this thing. It would make life a lot better, and then maybe they might actually do it. And then the third one is it looks consistent everywhere. Well, the problem with that is what if somebody likes 2 spaces? What if somebody likes 4 spaces? And if that weren't a thing, if everybody agreed 4 spaces was a thing, this would be less of a concern, but they don't. If you use tabs, you could set it to be as wide or as narrow as you want. You can set the line height to be as whatever you want. Why can't you set the indentation? And it's this kind of thing. It's like, well, what if, it would be really nice if we had this kind of like magic character that told the machine, I want one level of indentation here, and you can make it as wide as you want, depending on the user. Well, golly gee, we have it, and it's a tab. So to me, I'm like, well, why not use that thing for what it's intended for versus 4 spaces? Now, granted, you can set it up so your IDE, when you hit tab, it inserts 4 spaces, and sometimes they're smart enough to know, oh, when you hit delete there, you were trying to hit delete one tab, but not always. Sometimes you accidentally click like 3 spaces in and start typing, and so that you just totally threw off your tab because your IDE wasn't smart enough to be like, oh yeah, you didn't mean to click 3 in, you actually meant to click at the end of that. So it's a mess. The IDE is not smart enough to know after it inserts those 4 spaces. It's not always smart enough to know, but it would be if it was just a tab. So to me, I do PSR2. We switched to PSR2 just because let's be consistent. Let's allow ourselves to have sniffers. But I gotta say, I still think tabs are better. Other things to talk about. There's one other one, but I have 20 seconds. You know what I need to do? I need a theme song, and it's got to be a short theme song. because I basically don't want to lose 30 seconds at the end and the beginning of each of these zones. So maybe I'll get like a little ukulele and do a Phil Vischer kind of thing. But right now, it's going to be this is the end of my show. Do 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 do.